So find a comfortable stance. You don't have to be too specific about it now. It can actually be even a little wider than normal, just something that's comfortable. Close your eyes or find a spot to gaze at so your gaze is steady. And maybe place your hands on your abdomen and just start to check in. Check in with the quantity and quality of your thoughts. Notice just the speed of your thoughts as you come into practice today. Notice your body, starting with the crown of your head. Move your awareness down your spine and along your limbs. Without stopping anywhere, just noting any areas of comfort or discomfort. Then start to change your awareness and move it toward your breath. Noticing the rise and falls of the inhales and the exhales. Notice whether your breath is fast or slow, deep or shallow. Notice areas of roughness, areas of smoothness, without shaming or changing it yet, just noticing. Start to count the lengths of the inhales and the exhales. And see if you can even them out. So the inhale might be 4 or 5 seconds, and then the exhale about 4 or 5 seconds. As you inhale, relaxing the belly, allowing it to fill, and then the chest, then the collarbone area. And as you exhale, moving back the other direction, finally pressing your belly button toward your spine. Then bring your hands to heart center, palms together, thumbs at your sternum. Call to mind your intention, your sankalpa for class today. Might start with the words I am. Whatever it is, say it to yourself 3 times. And I'll start class by chanting the sound of Om 1 time. Feel free to listen or join along where you are. Blink your eyes open. Interlace your fingers, press them up toward the sky. Allow your tailbone to be heavy. And the next time you inhale, we'll lean to the right. Stay heavy in that left foot. And we'll inhale back to center. Next, inhale toward the left. Again, heavy in that right foot. Inhale back to center. And we'll just move with the breath a couple of times. So Let's exhale now to one side. Inhale to center. Exhale to the other side. Inhale to center. Do 2 more on each side. Good. We'll meet in the middle. And then look down at your feet. Make sure they're parallel. All 10 toes facing forward and about hip width. It's hot in this one. And we will inhale, lift our arms overhead, come to our tiptoes, touch your shoulder blades. And then exhale, lower heels and hands down at the same time. Do a few of these. Test out your balance today. Inhaling all the way so that you're still inhaling when your fingertips touch your shoulders. Let's do one more. Good. Interlace your hands, place them at the base of your skull. Inhale, look up and use your hands to pull the back of your neck nice and long. And then exhale your chin towards your chest. Allow your hands to be heavy. Gently inhale back up. Take this really slowly and carefully. If you need to take a couple of breaths to get up or down, you can do that. You can round into that upper back a little bit too. So it's not just the neck, it's all the way through that upper back that you're getting a stretch. And then we'll meet in a neutral neck. You can release your hands and we'll just take our left ear to our left shoulder. Inhale to center, right ear to right shoulder. Let's do a few of these. Okay, and then now look over your left shoulder. Inhale to center, and then look over your right shoulder. And finally, once you're done with these, you can just take some gentle circles, inhaling to come up and exhaling to come down. And go the other direction. Okay, let's come to a neutral neck. Make sure knees, hips, and shoulders are all stacked on top of each other. Arms come out to a T, and we'll do some circles going backwards. If you usually do big circles, do small ones. If you usually do small ones, do big ones. All the while allowing your tailbone to be heavy, so your spine is staying nice and long. And go forward. Okay. Now go forward with your left arm, backward with your right arm, and take these nice and big. Little challenge. And then reverse. Doing this online has robbed me of some of the joy of seeing people try to figure this one out. Okay. Now make sure our shoulders are rolled back and down. We're going to just get right into some half sun salutations. Make sure your feet, again, are parallel. Inhale, sweep your arms up, palms together. Gaze might come to the thumbs. Exhale, hinge at the hips and fold forward as much as you need to so you can touch the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold again, making sure your chin is coming toward your chest. Relax your neck. Inhale, come through that halfway point, engage your back. Press all the way to stand, arms overhead. Exhale to your sides. Inhale, palms up, gaze up. Exhale, forward fold. Chin to chest, chest to shins. Inhale, lift halfway. Nice, strong, straight back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, press up to stand. And exhale your hands to your side. Let's do 3 more of those on your own, at your own pace. 1 breath, 1 movement. Trying to make sure that the movement lasts a little bit longer, that the breath lasts a little bit longer than the movement. The next time you find yourself in that forward fold, let's stay there. Once you're there, give yourself a nice generous bend in the knees. Maybe grab opposite elbows and just really allow your head to hang from your shoulders. Nod your head yes. Shake your head no. Maybe allow your weight to shift from one foot and then the other. Okay, press your hands into your shins, lift up halfway, strong straight back. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, step your left foot to the back of your mat. So you're in a runner's lunge. Make sure your front knee is stacked over your front ankle. It's not coming forward of your toes. And then we're gonna do some circles with those hips. One direction. And the other direction. And plant your left hand and twist open toward the right. Just a gentle twist for now. And exhale, plant your hand. Inhale, broaden your collarbones, look forward. And exhale, step your right foot or left foot toward the front of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, press into your feet, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to your sides. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, and bring that right foot back. Making sure, again, that your knee is over your ankle. Bend into that back knee a little bit and then do some circles with your hips. And go the other direction. Plant your right hand, open your chest, twist. Exhale, plant your hand. Inhale, broaden your collarbone. You might come to fingertips here. And exhale, step to the front of the mat. Hold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to your sides. Good. Inhale, lift all the way up. Exhale, bring your hips back so you're in a sort of a chair position. Oh, I lost my balance. So this is often called chair pose. Utkatasana actually translates to fierce pose. You don't have to go all the way deep into it, just a little bit of a bend. And allow your tailbone to be heavy, but you are going to notice that there's a slight arch, especially in that upper back. So pulling the arms closer to, or not closer, but back in the line of your ears. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Bring your left foot back again. Set up that lunge. This time, we're gonna plant that back heel so your foot is at a 45-degree angle. And then you'll bring your torso all the way up. Notice whether your feet are, if you're tight roping, you can bring them out a little bit so you're in 2 lanes of traffic. That will help you feel more stable and also is probably more comfortable on your hips. And then when your feet are in the right place, bend into that front knee, bring your arms next to your ears like we just did in Utkatasana. Warrior one. Generous bend in that front knee. If you need to walk your foot forward a little bit for that or backward, you can do that. Chest is fully facing forward. Continue breathing. Good. Exhale, your hands other side of that front foot. And now we're just going to start bending into that front foot a little, the front knee a little bit, or straightening into the front knee, sorry. So if you have blocks, this is a good time to use blocks. If you don't worry too much about straightening your leg all the way, but press your, the crease of your hip backward. So you should still start to feel a stretch in that front hamstring. You can allow your chin to drop toward your chest a little bit. Pyramid pose. Okay, and then bring your arms out to a T. Inhale halfway up. And then next inhale, come all the way up. Bend into that front knee again. Warrior one. Bring your hands to heart center. This time we're going to take the left elbow and bring it outside the right knee. for a little bit of a deeper twist. If you feel pretty warmed up already, you can also try opening up the arms. But for most of us, I think palms together is good. Okay. Inhale, arms back up. Warrior one. Exhale, hands to the front of the mat. Pop that back heel up. Take a breath here, and then we'll exhale to the front of the mat, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Strong straight back. Exhale, fold, chin to chest to shins. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale your arms to your sides. Okay. Shake it out a little bit. And let's do the other side. Inhale, arms up, gaze up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold. Bring that left foot back now. And again, feet are in 2 lanes of traffic. Then bring that back heel in so your back foot is at a 45-degree angle. Bring your torso up. Knee is stacked over the ankle. Chest is facing the front of the mat, the front of the room. And you have a nice generous bend in that front knee. Good. Once you're stable on the bottom, you can bring your arms up. And again, remembering there's a little bit of a back bend in that upper back, keeping that tailbone pointing toward the back heel. Breathe. Feeling rooted, feeling strong. Bringing our hands to the front of the mat, and then again, start to bend into that front knee any amount. Press into the base of your big toe. Relax the back of your neck. Arms out to a T, come up halfway, strong straight back. And then we'll come the rest of the way up. Arms sweep up next to the ears, bending into that front knee. Great, palms together, twist in the direction of the leg that's bent, and take whatever variation you took on the other side. I should have mentioned on the other side, if this is really bothering any of your joints to twist this much, you can always pop that back heel up a little bit. Inhale back to center, keep that bend in the knee. Exhale, hands come to the front, back heel pops up. Take a breath here. And then this time we're gonna bring our front foot back into plank pose. You can always take a modified plank. If you're in traditional plank, full plank, press into those heels, fire up the legs, and then exhale, come all the way down to the mat with control. Inhale for a little baby cobra, maybe a full cobra at this point or somewhere in between. Tailbone pointing toward the heels again. Exhale, fold, and fold. Come to the mat. Cross your wrists, place your forehead or your chin on crossed wrists, and breathe. Okay, hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale, come up to plank or modified plank, and exhale, downward facing dog. Feel free to pedal out the feet here, stretch into the back of the body any way that feels good. And then find a place of stillness. Press into the inner edges of your hands. Next time you inhale, lift your right leg, straight leg, even hips. Exhale, bend your knee, stack your right hip over your left. And then if you'd like, you can flip it over, plant that right foot behind the left for a stretch. Press the hips forward. This is probably not a good angle for you guys to see it. Is it? All right, and then we'll come back to three-legged dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Wasn't a good angle, but my pillows were on the wrong side to show you. Okay, let's try this again. Inhale, lift your left leg, straight leg, even hips. Exhale, stack your hips, bend that left knee, and then if you'd like, you can flip it over, press those hips up to the sky. And then find your way back to three-legged dog, and then downward facing dog. Bring your knees to the mat. Sit back on your heels for child's pose. A nice active child's pose here. So pressing the fingertips toward the front of the mat and using that pressure to lengthen your spine and bring your hips closer to your heels. Tuck those toes, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Lengthen your spine, shoulders come away from the ears. Feeling that grounding through your root knuckles, your fingertips, and the bases of your toes, and then the heaviness of your heels, even if they're not touching the mat. Inhale, lift your left leg again, and then exhale, we're gonna come into pigeon. So bring it toward your left wrist, and then your toes can come towards your right wrist any amount. So this is gonna be different for different people. Some people can bring it all the way forward, some people not. Walk your back leg back until you feel like you're in a good spot, making sure to allow that tailbone to continue being heavy. You want to avoid overarching in that lower back, pretty much always. And then make sure that your front foot is flexed. Protect that front knee. Now, if you like, because this is a relax and restore class, you can bring a pillow underneath that front hip to allow it to relax a little bit. And then if you haven't already folded forward, make sure your back, well, either way, make sure your back foot comes untucked. Lengthen your spine. And then as you exhale, you can walk your hands forward any amount. So they can stay here. You can come to forearms, maybe all the way down to the mat. I think it's very nice to have your forehead touch something in this position, pose. So if you even want to take a blanket, if you don't make it all the way to the mat, you can do that. Letting go of tension, just 10% more. Inhale, walk your hands back. Come to fingertips, lengthen your spine. Ignore my back foot, it's cramping. Having to move it. And then we're going to do a little bit of a twist toward both sides. So first, bring your left forearm to the mat, parallel to the front edge or whatever's most comfortable. And you're going to just open up toward the right. So this might involve bringing your arm up, if that feels good. It also, can you guys see? It also, you might bring your hand back and try to grab onto the inner edge of your left hip. And then inhale to unwind. Now bring your right arm and parallel to the mat. It might be a little bit of an angle. You're going to press your left knee to twist open to the left. So this is going to be a little bit less open than the other side. Continue breathing. And then we'll inhale back to center. Come to your fingertips again. Now, this is totally optional. If you've had enough, you can just stay here. If you'd like, you can bend your back knee and reach it back with the same side arm for that ankle. Trying to keep the shoulders facing forward as much as you can. Inhale, release. Plant your palms, step back to downward facing dog. Stretch. You can take other movements if you need to, vinyasa on the belly or stretch. My body seems to want me to stretch that hip open, so I'm gonna do that. And then find downward facing dog. We'll lift the right leg high and bring that knee to the right wrist. And setting up the same way. So the right toes are coming toward, or the left, right toes are coming toward the left wrist. Walking that back, knee back. Tailbone is heavy. Maybe come to the fingertips, lengthen the spine. If you placed a cushion under your hip on the other side, you can do that now. And then walking your hands forward at an exhale. If you had a prop under your forehead, you can do that now. Again, remembering this is a pretty gentle class, so even if you can do it a little bit more deeply or without a prop, give yourself a little bit of a break. And release. And inhale, walk your hands back under your shoulders. Nice long spine. And we'll do that open twist first. So the right arm comes down, left arm comes either up or around to that inner thigh. This is a little bit of a balance. You don't want to fall backward, but you are going to lean back on that hip. That's okay. And inhale, get that arm down in front of you. And we'll open, we'll close off into the closed twist. Pressing into that thigh. And inhale, release. Come to your fingertips, lengthen your spine, tailbone's heavy. Keep that tailbone heavy, and if on the other side you bent that back knee, reached for it, do that now. Ooh, cramp in my hamstring. Don't look at me. I'm hideous. Okay. And then release that back leg down and find yourself back in downward facing dog. And again, if you'd like to take our belly vinyasa or any movements, you can go ahead and do that now. Start to walk your hands back toward your feet into a forward fold. Bring your toes together. Put a slight gap between the heels. And then bend into your knees, take them wide for Malasana, garland pose. Now your heels are going to be heavy, but they don't have to touch the mat. And if for whatever reason you feel way more comfortable taking a wide-legged deep squat here, you can do that, or a wide-footed deep squat. You can do that here too. This is my preferred, especially for a class like this, where you want to take it a little bit more relaxed and gentle. Now, let your hips and heels be heavy, but start to walk your hands forward and relax your chin toward your chest. Squeeze your knees in toward your armpits. And then you can stay here, or if you're just dying to play with crow pose for a moment, feel free to do that. Just do like 3 or 4 breaths. And then just bring your feet back down to the mat, and we'll just sit back. So you should be toward the back of your mat now, seated. Legs out in front of you. Bring your left knee in towards your chest. Cross it over your right leg. Keep rooting through the sit bones, and we'll just turn toward the right. So you can bring your arm around your knee, or you can take it inside if you want a deeper twist. Inhale, unwind. Little counter twist the other direction. And we'll straighten that leg out. Bring the left or the right knee in. Squeeze it, cross it over, and we'll twist toward the right. Inhale to unwind, little counter twist. Bring both feet out in front of you, Dandasana. Palms are just behind and outside of your hips, nice long spine. Inhale, reach up, and then exhale, lengthen so your chest is moving toward your heels. Once you're as far as you can go that way, point your hands wherever they land and just relax your chin toward your chest. Okay, inhale to come up. Just watch me for a second. I'm going to demonstrate our next pose. We're going to do, most of you will know this, we're going to do a supported, actually you have two options. So we're going to do a supported inversion, sort of a supported shoulder stand. If you do have a wall handy and you want to take legs up the wall pose, Viparita Karani, you can do that. So I'll show you that first, actually, because that's a really nice one if you're in your home with a space to do it. So you'll come up to the wall. You'll bring your hips all the way to the wall and laying on your side. Now, if I were on my mat, if I were moving my mat over, I would want to be like way on the edge of my mat. And then you just roll onto your back and your feet come to the dirty window. If you have a pillow handy and your hamstrings are tight, or you just want a little bit of extra cushion, you can bring the pillow underneath your hips. You can even stack pillows. It's a good one. You can place your hands on your belly or a few inches away from your hips. If you don't have a wall or dirty porch window handy, you can take just a supported shoulder stand. Also, if traditional shoulder stand is part of your practice, you can do that. And if you want to do, hope this is a good angle. Someone unmute yourself and tell me if it's not. If you want to do it away from the wall, have a pillow or two handy. We'll come into a bridge pose. Bring the pillows or a folded blanket, that might actually be more stable, underneath your hips as much as possible. So try not to bring it all the way underneath your lower back. And then we'll just lift our feet up. Chill out here. So I'll just cue that again in case anybody was watching and would like the cue. So we're just coming into a bridge pose, lifting our hips, pressing into our feet, shifting the pillows or blanket or whatever you're using underneath your hips, or a block if you have a block, and then lifting the heels up. And we'll stay here for a good few minutes, so make sure you're really comfortable. And if you're away from the wall, just bring your feet down to the mat and don't move the props out of the way yet. Just hang out there for a minute or two. If you are at the wall, you can just kind of bring your knees into your chest and then roll over to one side. And then when you're ready, press into your feet to move the props out of the way. And we'll just come back up to a seat. And the next thing that we're going to do is to take a supported twist. So you'll want a few pillows maybe, or pillow and a blanket to come to the front of your mat. And so what I recommend is taking one pillow or folded blanket and placing it underneath another one or two so that it's at a bit of an angle. And then you're going to come up. So kind of like if you did Viparita Karani at the wall, you're going to come up so that your whichever hip, it doesn't matter which hip you do first. I'm doing my left hip, comes right up against the mat, knees stacked on top of each other, ankles stacked on top of each other. And then you will turn your body toward the pillows, whatever props you're using, as the twist. So it's a pretty gentle twist. And then I don't have anywhere for my head at the moment, but you can either turn your head the same way as the twist or the opposite way, whatever's easiest on your neck, or take whatever variation works for you. You may have to play with it a little. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask me for help if you don't feel quite comfortable. When you're ready, start to press yourself off of your props. If you'd like to take any movements before doing the other side, you can go ahead and do that. And then when you're ready, set yourself up in the same way. Noticing if this side's any different than the other. Apply time to the palpable qualities of that. Lying them down. Ready. Walk your hands back. Lift your chest up off your props, and then again, take any movements you'd like to. Maybe find a final downward facing dog. And then move your props out of the way, or if you'd like to lay back on them, you can do that as well. We're just going to set up for a final resting pose. Laying on your back, maybe finding something to cover your eyes. If you have any strain in your lower back, you can take a pillow or a rolled blanket and place it underneath your knees or even under your hips. Take your feet wider than hip width, maybe even as wide as the mat. And then bring your hands out to your sides, 6 to 8 inches away. Lift your head, lengthen the back of your neck, and then place it back down. And release everything. Relax your toes and your ankles, your calves, your knees. Relax your thighs and your hamstrings. Release any tension you're holding on to in your hips and your glutes. Release your lower back, middle back, and upper back. Release any control you still were holding onto on your breath. And allow the breath to rise and fall naturally in the belly and in the chest. Relax your fingers, forearms, wrists, upper arms. Release tension in your shoulders and your neck. Allow your brain to be cradled by your skull and your skull to be cradled by the earth. Relax your forehead and the muscles behind your eyes. Allow your lower jaw to separate from your upper jaw and your tongue to come away from the roof of your mouth. Just take the next few minutes to allow body and mind to integrate. If you need something to focus your attention on, you can focus it on the rise and falls of your inhales and your exhales. Start to deepen your inhales and lengthen your exhales. Bring movement to your fingers and wrists, toes and ankles. Maybe reach your arms overhead. Give yourself a nice long stretch before bringing your knees in towards your chest. Giving yourself a hug and rolling off to one side, using your bottom arm as a pillow. Take a couple of breaths here to enjoy the peace you created with your practice. When you're ready, you can use your top hand to press yourself up to a seat. You can keep your eyes closed if you'd like. You might want to grab a pillow or the edge of a blanket or a block to sit on. Root into your sit bones. Find a long spine. And with your eyes closed or your gaze in one place toward the front of your mat, just start to focus on the feeling of your breath through both nostrils. And if you notice that one side seems to be a little bit less free-flowing than the other, focus your attention on that nostril. And then once it seems to be even, refocus your attention on both nostrils. We'll just do this for a few minutes. And let go of that breath technique. And start to imagine your mind as a calm, clear lake. If you notice yourself getting distracted by any thoughts or anything happening around you, think of it as a ripple in the lake. The ripples move out to the surface, and then again, you're left with your mind as a calm, clear lake. And then release that technique and just allow your mind to do whatever it wants to do. Bring your hands to heart center. Bow into yourself and thank yourself for taking the time for your practice today. Call to mind your sankalpa, your intention that you set at the beginning of class, and decide whether you want to take it with you as you continue on with the rest of your evening. I will finish class the way I started it by chanting the sound of Om one time. Feel free to join along or just listen. Namaste. Thank you all for being here.